It, Hello. Sorry about the lag at the beginning. I didn't know it was capturing. I got another screen here so I can use for notes. Um, I'm going to be talking about other vacations. These have been places that I've been and really enjoyed. I was really young at the time too. I think the oldest I was on this trip to Key West, which was 1990. So I would have been 13. Um, and I didn't even get to do half this stuff. We did a few things, but anyways, they say that the best travel experience is to take Amtrak, and it goes down to Fort Lauderdale, and then you take a shuttle from Fort Lauderdale down to Key West, where you can. They have shuttles from Greyhound, Excursions USA, Miami to Key West bus, and there's public buses too. These are some of the things that you can do. There's called the Fury Water Adventure. It's water sports company that's been around for a very long time there, and they do all sorts of things from snorkeling, parasailing, jet skiing, kayaking, rock climbing, and they have a water trampoline. They do sunset sails and cruises, reef eco tours, and glass bottom boat rides. And the one that me and my dad did was the glass bottom boat ride, and that was a lot of fun. I've never had an experience like that, and I'd love to do it again someday. Uh, that same place has combo packages that you can do. One of them's called the Ultimate Adventure. Another one's called Rum and Reggae. Sounds a lot of fun if you like rum and reggae. And they have another one called the Commotion on the Ocean. So that's kind of fun. Then you've got the Trials of Margaritaville tour, which my dad took me on that too. That kind of goes into some of the history of Jimmy Buffett and Margaritaville and the area of Key West that he used to hang out in his younger days. I think he still does a lot down there in Margaritaville.
I want to say something. If you're not familiar, people, including you, Angela, we're addressing this to all of the YouTubers that subscribe. Jimmy Buffett also has his own brand of beer called Landshark.
Yes, he does. But he's most known for his music like Cheeseburger in Paradise, Pencil Thin Mustache, Margaritaville, Son of a Sailor, etc., etc. Anyways, then there's another one called The Ghosts and Legends of Key West. This was another tour that my dad took me on. And again, it was a lot of fun. Now, I'd recommend doing this either at the beginning if you're one of those paranormal people that really want to see a ghost, because once you get the tour, you're going to know where they're supposed to be and you're going to be looking for them or whatever. And if you're one of those people who are scared of them, you might not want to go to those places after knowing that supposed ghosts are there. So if you're one of those people that are scared, go at the end so that you don't ruin your experience and say, I can't go into this place because it's haunted. It's better to know at the end than know beforehand.
You and Angela will go into those because I frankly am not going into them.
Well, that's why you don't go until the end. Then you don't know. Then you've got the Hemingway House, which is a guided tour through the property of Ernest Hemingway. He wrote a lot of his books there, and it's a really cool tour.
Old Man of the Sea.
And yes, he wrote The Old Man and the Sea, For Whom the Bell Tolls, and lots of other stories. However, he had a peculiarity in his love for cats, the ones with the extra paw. The extra digit on their paw, and where it looks like they have mittens because they have like 5 fingers instead of 4. So you get to see those all over the place, and it's a really cool experience. Then you got the Harry S. Truman Little White House, which would be a place that Rita would really like because it was like a vacation retreat for Harry S. Truman when he was president.
From 1945 to 1953.
Depending on when you go, you can get tours of it because sometimes government officials still use it, and during that time it's usually closed off. There's a place called A Key Encounter. It's a non-profit museum, and it has anatomic animals. It does movies of various different types, including one on the creation of the world from a Christian point of view. And it has a planetarium, and it's all free. My dad did not take me on that. Then you got the Key West Cemetery, which there's really nobody famous buried there, but it's all above ground graves because of the water level, and that's something you usually don't see around, so it's kind of a unique experience. And a lot of the tombs have interesting inscriptions on them, like, I told you I was sick, and this is another one that's here's there. At least I know where he is sleeping tonight.
I just want to make another note for Angela. Above ground crypts are also all over the state of Louisiana
Yes, they
because
are.
of the swamps. And
Again,
stuff.
because of the water level.
Yes.
Then you got the Florida Keys Wildlife Rescue, and it's a lot like a zoo, but it's for sick and injured wildlife, and you get to see the wildlife up close. And another place like that is the McCoy Indigenous Park, which is open from 8 to 5 to go see the animals, but you can go anytime to see the park, which is open 24 hours. Then an interesting one there is Southernmost Point. It's not really an exciting, fun thing, but it's kind of something you can claim because it's the furthest south point you can get in the United States. Contrary to popular belief, it is not in Texas near Mexico, it's in Key West. And they actually have a big deal to do with the southernmost point. You got the Shipwreck Museum, which, besides being a shipwreck museum, it has one of the best panoramic views of the entire island, which is supposed to be breathtaking. The Key West Lighthouse also has that, but they charge $10 to get in, but you get a whole tour of the lighthouse and how the lighthouses work. You got the Key West Nature Preserve. Then the whole island is 2.4 miles, or 2 by 4 miles, so 2 miles one way, 4 miles the other way. It's the entire size of the island. And they actually were able to fit a nature preserve on, so that's kind of impressive. There's a family and kids park called Astro City, which is down near the beaches. And apparently it's a real fun place, and you can go there for picnics and stuff because they got outdoor barbecues for people who come. So you don't necessarily have to go dine out. If you go pick up steaks at, say, one of the little grocery stores in town, you can go and do barbecue and stuff, which could be really cool. Then there's the Florida Keys Eco Discovery Center, which also has free admission, and they got a 2,500-gallon reef aquarium and all sorts of other museum displays and little aquarium things.
Rita, what are you doing? Get that fishing pole out of that aquarium!
Then you got Sebago Water Sports, which also does snorkeling and parasailing, and they teach you how to dive. You can take jet skis and stuff, and it could be pretty adventurous. Then you got Dry Tortugas National Park, which is a guided tour and boat ride that leaves from Key West. And, well, heck, a boat ride, kind of fun.
Me and Annie on a jet boat.
Now,
ski.
this is one that I think you'd really like. You get the opportunity to swim with dolphins while you're there. Anybody 5 and up can do this, and I'm not sure exactly where to go to do it, but you can swim with dolphins when you go there. You'll have to do a little research. There's the Comp Tour Train, which is a guided tour of the island by a little travel train that goes around the island, and apparently it's very, very, very popular to take that tour. I'd already mentioned glass bottom boats, so I'll skip that. There's also Key West Fishing, which you can get private and group chartered boats and go fishing. However, you will need the fishing license.
Which is very expensive.
There's Sunset Watercraft. They claim to have romantic cruises, but all I can find on them is that they have a jet ski run that takes 1.5 hours around the entire island on beat-up jet skis, but it's actually really fun apparently. But they do claim romantic cruise, a cruise around the island, and they probably do have it. I just couldn't find it. Then you got sunset celebrations every night. You go down to the end of town, basically. It dumps out on a beach, this one road. And every night they have a carnival-type celebration, and it's got all sorts of drunken people dancing and having fun. And, well, you get it. It's like a nightclub, all night long partying. You got the Honest Works Island Pottery, which would be kind of cool the first day you're there, because you can go in and you can watch them make pottery, or you can also take a class on pottery and actually get to spin pottery and get your hands all dirty. And by the end of your trip, you get yourself a nice little souvenir, but you do it your last day, it won't be fired in time for you to take it home.
Probably kill them.
Exactly. And then they have Fort Zachary Taylor. It's called a fort, and it's
named after one of our presidents.
Named after one of our presidents, but it's considered one of the romantic getaways there. It gets you away from the festivities, and it's a great place to watch the sunset or sunrise or just the boats on the water if you want to take a break. For things to do for shopping, there's all sorts of stores up and down the streets. There's a place called Blue, which specializes in women's clothing. Fairville
Zachary
Mega
Taylor,
Store.
12th President of the United States.
There's one called Key Lime and More, which is actually the only place to get a homemade key lime pie, surprisingly.
She likes
given
pie.
It's key lime. There's Conch Republic Gifts, Paradise Tattoo, if you want a tattoo to remember your trip by.
I don't think
and
my wife wants
Bare
one.
Bones Beach Shop. Where can you eat? There's all sorts of places. There's low cost. So you got the Conch Republic, which is a throwback to Old Key West. You got El Siboney, which is a traditional Cuban food, which a lot of people don't even know exists there. You got Jimmy Buffett's Margaritaville, which is a great place to get a cheeseburger in paradise.
Or a margarita or a beer.
Exactly.
Their house beer
You
is
got
really
Schooner
good.
Wharf, which is reported as having the best breakfast in Key West, especially for those with a hangover. You got La Granja, which is a Peruvian restaurant, and Mom's Best Food, which is a kosher restaurant serving Israeli food. For Mid-Coast, you got A&B Lobster House. For what do you guess? Lobster.
Know what? I'm going there if I'm
You
on
got
Key
El
West.
Mesón de Pepe, which is another Cuban restaurant, because there's a heavy Cuban influence down there, and this is a more fancy Cuban restaurant. You got the Rooftop Cafe, which is supposed to be amazing at night when it's dark, and you got the stars overhead, and you're sitting there eating underneath the starlight.
Probably expensive too.
Yeah, it's mid-cost. You got the Half Shell, which is considered one of the best seafood restaurants in Key
Yeah,
West.
must have lobster again. I'm wrong.
Probably. You've got the Upper Crust Restaurant, which is a pizzeria, and they have a very, very thin crust pizza, which is very unique, and it's supposed to be very good, and you can have it with or without sauce, which is also unique.
The thing is that she's a vegetarian. Or
Well,
vegan,
I'm sure they
so-
have vegetarian pizzas, okay?
But she can't have cheese.
Okay, well, then you got 915, which is kind of like a dining on a porch. It's an old Victorian house, and it's done with a buffet style, I guess. You basically eat with a bunch of other people, and you go and pick what you want and go sit down, but it's rather expensive. And then you got Seven Fish, which is also a great place for fish, but you have to have reservations for it. The places to get a drink, this is just a few of them. There's Sloppy Joe's, which was where Hemingway hung out, and I actually enjoyed myself at Sloppy Joe's when I was a kid.
Excuse me, is that the
doesn't
same
just have
guy
beer.
that invented the Sloppy Joe?
I doubt it. There's the Bourbon Street Pub, the Hog's Breath, the Green Parrot Bar, Finnegan's Wake, and Bogart's Irish Pub.
Irish pub sounds pretty cool.
I also
Same
got
with
a
Bourbon
whole bunch
Street.
of places to sleep here, but the interesting there is bed and breakfasts. Bed and breakfasts are one of the best places that you can stay there. You get breakfast included, of course, and it's more like living in a house than a hotel.
My stepfather believed in bed
And
breakfast
then in
anyway.
other places that you can go in the area, there's Marathon Island. I don't know what you can do on it, but there's a lot to do apparently. There's Key Largo, Big Pine Key, and Isla Morada. Also, as I said, the train comes into Fort Lauderdale, and that's not terribly far from Miami. You can also take a train into Miami or bus into Miami or whatever, and then go down to Key West from Miami. So you can still enjoy Miami and Fort Lauderdale when you're there. So that's essentially what I have to say on Key West, and so I will finish this up now. Thanks for listening, and if you choose to go to Key West, do have fun and enjoy yourself. It is a blast.